Good morning, everybody. It's Readers Are Leaders Book Club time. Okay, so this morning we're starting chapter 1 on Break the Mould by Sinead Burke. And as she puts on the inside cover, a very important book encouraging us all to celebrate, as it does, the uniqueness and gift of our own and others' differences, while recognising all of that which we share in common. And that's by Michael D. Higgins, by President of Ireland. Oh, that's so cool. I love that. So we're going into chapter 1 today, and then after we've done chapter 1, please comment along with me, especially if you're reading the book as well. It's all about to dream, and then afterwards I'm going to read the big brain for our juniors. So let me just get our comments up here, so do comment along with me, and I hope you're all having a lovely sunny Saturday. Alright, so just trying to get my angles right. Hopefully that'll work. Okay, so Break the Mould. And what I thought I'd do is I actually had this out last week, but I didn't get a chance to read it. And it's the song by Sammy Davis Jr., I Gotta Be Me. And I think this fits in really well with the ethos of F.Y.I. Dance Club, and also this book and the books that we'll be choosing as well. So it says, whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, whether I find a place in this world or never belong, I gotta be me, I gotta be me. What else can I be but what I am? I want to live, not merely survive, and I won't give up on this dream of life that keeps me alive. I gotta be me, I gotta be me. The dream that I see makes me what I am. Good morning. That faraway prize, a world of success, is waiting for me if I heed the call. I won't settle down, I won't settle for less, as long as there's a chance that I can have it all. I'll go it along, that's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free, daring to try, to do it or die, I gotta be me. I'll go it alone, that's how it must be. I can't be right for somebody else if I'm not right for me. I gotta be free, daring to try, to do it or die, I gotta be me. And that's by Sammy Davis Jr. And that's the song I Gotta Be Me. So I think that's really fitting at the moment. Good morning, everybody. Hey, good morning, Evie. How are you today? Oh, I love when you come into our book clubs. It's brilliant. Right, so Evie, we're going to go ahead with Break the Mould first, and then we're going to do my big brain. This is a good one. Okay, so it says, so this is Sinead speaking now. So this is Sinead Burke, the author. And she says, I wonder whether you've ever thought to yourself, I would love to stand out, to do things differently, to make a difference, to change the world, to break the mold. But you figured, no, that's impossible. In many ways, that was my story, or it could have been. When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to work in fashion, and I wanted to change the world. But I'm a little person. I have dwarfism, which is a physical disability that means my arms and legs are a little bit shorter than most people. Growing up, there weren't very many teachers or writers or fashion designers or activists who were disabled like me. And that just bring up, I've written in a little note here, if you can't find a role model, be a role model. So I remember hearing that one. Good morning, Hayley. How are you today? So if you can't find a role model for what you want to do in your life, then maybe you're going to be the role model for everybody else. So that's my words, not Sinead's there. Okay, back to Sinead. She says, not seeing someone who looked like me in the places I longed to be meant that I used to think that my dreams were impossible. I wonder, do you have any dreams that you feel are impossible? But from my earliest days, my parents encouraged me to believe that I could do anything that I dreamed of. They told me that I might have to find a different way to achieve my dream, but it wasn't impossible. Just because it hadn't been done before, it didn't mean that I couldn't be the first. And that's really important. I always think of, like, who was the first person who invented like a rocket ship to the moon? Like, who was that person? Who was the first person who thought of like a mobile phone? So, you know, maybe you can be the first person to create something for your generation. I went on to become the first little person to be on the cover of Vogue, a monthly fashion and lifestyle magazine. I was the first little person to attend the Met Gala, a very fancy fundraising ball where lots of celebrities get dressed up in amazing costumes. I created the first little person doll and the first little person mannequin. Because when I was growing up, there were no toys or shop mannequins that looked like me. That's a really good point. Do you ever see a shop mannequin that looks like a little person? I introduced the word for little person into the Irish dictionary and into Irish sign language. Oh, there's a school section where she teaches some sign language, and there's a little part where you can actually learn how to do your name. So I'm part of a group of people called the Council of State, who he calls, oh, this is so cool. I'm part of a group of people called the Council of State, who he calls on whenever there's a big decision to be made. Oh, so that's the president, I think. I was able to fulfill my dreams, and now I want to help you fulfill yours. Okay, so are you my VIPs? Are you like my Council of State? Permission to dream. The act of making a dream a reality does not happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and perseverance, but you can make it happen. I think we talked about that in last week's book, where the kid wanted to be work with turtles, and they're like, well, it's going to take a long, long time. And yeah, it does, but it'll be worth it. You can discover and create your own dreams, and I want to show you how. So let's rewind and step back in time to my very first day of school. Do you remember your first day at school? I was actually thinking, it reminded me of my first day of school, and I had kind of missed the start of junior infants because I used to live up in Northern Ireland, and we came back down, and I had to walk in, and the principal, who was the acting teacher, says, okay, this is Zoe, this is her first day at school, and I was so scared. And will anybody look after her? And I remember this little guy put his hand up, his name's Daniel, and he went, she can come and sit with me. And do you know, me and Daniel are still friends now, a billion years later. But that was the best day ever. It's yeah, she'll come and sit with me. And he totally looked after me, and we were best friends all the way through primary school, all the way through secondary school, all the way, well, we went to different colleges, but all the way into our grown-ups life. So that's amazing. So Sinead says, I was so nervous. I wanted to make friends, and I wanted to fit in. I looked so different from the other girls in my class. I was concerned that they might not know how to talk to me or what to say. I was worried that their nervousness might have meant that they wouldn't talk to me at all. I decided to introduce myself to put everyone at ease, so I told them a story about me. I love this. It was just a few lines. I practiced it at home in front of the mirror, and I felt a mix of fear and excitement. I walked into the classroom, and everyone looked at me. They all wore the same clothes: a bright blue jumper, a shirt, a bow tie, and a pinafore. I wore them, and in our uniform, I looked like the other girls, just smaller. The teacher told the class that I was their new classmate and asked me to say hello. It was my moment. Standing in front of them, I waved and smiled. I took a deep breath and said, hi. Now bear in mind, she's only 4. Literally, she's only 4 and she says this. Hi, my name is Sinead. I am 4 years old. I have achondroplasia. That's spelled achondroplasia. It means that I'm a little person and I can do most things just like you. How brave is she? That is so cool. It was not only my first day of school, it was also my 4th birthday. I don't think I could have done that at 4. The teacher had a look on her face that said she wasn't expecting a speech. It was a kind of look where an adult is trying their best not to smile, but they can't control it, and a grin stretches across their face. The class shouted, "Welcome, Sinead!" and overemphasized every syllable in my name. With so many voices, it sounded like Sinead. It didn't matter. I was part of the class, and I would spend 8 years in a classroom with these girls, and already I felt accepted. I was one of them. They had made small changes to help me feel comfortable. At the back of the classroom, we hung up our coats, hats and scarves on bright, colourful hooks. Mine was at the end of the row and much lower than the rest. The ability to hang my coat up on my own might seem trivial or unimportant, but allowed me to be a student in the same way as everyone else. In my classroom, there were 30 spaces for children to sit, and every table and chair looked the same, wooden with red metal bars for legs. My seat was at the front of the room. My table and chair were identical to everyone else's, but smaller. The legs had been shortened, and they were just the right height for me to be able to sit down without using a footstool and without having to ask anyone for help. There, she's given us a little picture there, if you can see that. I loved school. In the classroom, it seemed anything was possible. There was a playhouse nestled in the corner, and inside there were costumes and lots of accessories. I remember spending hours dressing up, sometimes as a doctor wearing a white coat over my uniform with a stethoscope around my neck. Other times I was wearing a chef's hat and jacket, and every now and then wearing a hard hat and a high-vis jacket like a construction worker. I loved to play, dream, and imagine all the possibilities of who I could be and what I could do when I left school. If you want to stick in the chat what you like to dress up as, that would be cool. I know Oliver was obsessed with being a Garda. We had more Garda uniforms. He's now, at 7 years of age, he's now graduated into spy uniforms. So I don't know if I should be worried or not. Then I would zigzag from the playhouse to the classroom library where I'd run my fingers along the spines of books. I loved turning the pages and escaping to a different world. Learning about princes and princesses, countries and cultures that I could only dream of experiencing. It was bliss. That first day, I didn't want school to end. When the bell rang for us to go home, I left the classroom dragging my feet and school bag, desperate to spend a few more minutes there. I had made up my mind. Bursting out the school doors, I told my parents that I wanted to go to school forever. Do you guys do that? Do you guys tell you want to go to school forever? A cat! Oh yes, you and Mittens, you'd make a great team, wouldn't you, Evie, if you're dressing up as a cat? Brilliant. For those who don't know, Mittens is Evie's cat. Bursting out of the school doors, I told my parents I wanted to go to school forever. When I was old enough, I wanted to be a teacher. They didn't hesitate, not for a moment. Smiling brightly, they both looked at me and said, "Great!" I often wondered how my mum and dad felt at that moment. They had worked with the school to create the coat hook and my table and chair at a smaller height. Already it was obvious that the classroom wasn't designed for a little person as a student. So could a little person be a teacher? And as none of my teachers looked like me, maybe that meant it was impossible. What do you think? Maybe I couldn't be a teacher. My mum and dad were calm, but I wondered if they were thinking about this and asking themselves these questions. You see, we live in a world where there are often assumptions about what a person can or cannot do or be because they are different. When there are no role models or people who look like you already achieving your dreams, it's easy to think that your dreams are impossible, but that's rarely true. When I told my parents I wanted to be a teacher, they didn't accept those biases, which are assumptions about how or what something should be. My mum and dad gave me permission to dream. My life might be very different without that moment because sometimes all you need is someone to believe in you. That could be a parent, a grandparent, a brother, a sister, a cousin, a friend, or it could be you believing in yourself. We all need someone to tell us that our dreams are possible. I have a little bit of a note about Jay Shetty here. So he had a little video up one time about fulfilling your dreams. So sometimes it can be that you'll feel that burning dream inside of you. So that's always interesting. And to remind us how brilliant and unique we each are. So now I'm passing on that message. So we're going to finish up here, and this is on page 20. So we're going to pick it up on page 20 next week of Break the Mould. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we're going to hear more about Sinead's journey. So that would be amazing. And now we're going to move on to our juniors book today, My Big Brain. I'd love to hear what you thought about Sinead's, what really resonated for you in that book. What did you really enjoy about it, or did you learn any nice lessons? Okay, so My Big Brain by, I hope I'm saying this right, by Maggie Ruch. Ruch, I think it is. Sorry, let me just pull out my microphone. It's dropped down there. Okay, My Big Brain. Oh my goodness, that would be perfect for my brain grooves, wouldn't it? I love that picture. Strong brain. All right, everybody. My big brain. I have a big brain, and my brain has a big job to do. What jobs does your brain do? My brain sends messages to my body, and these messages help my body know what to do. The messages tell me if I'm hot or cold or in between. My brain helps me to breathe, to walk or run, to hop, skip and jump. My brain helps me to smell smells, to hear sounds, to touch, taste and see. My big brain helps me to do almost everything. My brain also does things that seem like magic, because with my brain I can create anything that I really want. My brain works so fast, faster than anything on earth. That's pretty cool. So whatever I tell my brain to do, it will do every time. If I tell my brain that I want it to have a good day, my brain goes to work right away. It starts to look for things that will make me feel happy. And as soon as it sees these things, it tells my eyes, look. And what do I see? Now, I think this is really cool, and I've experimented with this, and I'm working with my seniors on this new idea called What Would I Love? So if you tell yourself, for example, I hate school, or I'm too tired to go to school, or oh, school this, or blah, 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 then your brain is like a computer, so it goes, oh, run the operating program of school is bad, and then it literally becomes like a detective and looks for everything that's bad about school for you. But if you then change, it can be sometimes too hard to change straight over to go, I love school, when maybe you've been telling yourself for 2 years that you don't like school. So if you actually just change that to the what would I love? So this is what Oliver and I do. We go, what would we love for today? Oh, I would love school to be easy today. I would love if I got homework finished in 10 minutes instead of 20 minutes. I would love to get to sit beside my best friend. And even if these things don't happen, you can actually feel inside you that you actually start to change a little bit, and you go from feeling to feeling a little bit more lifted. So practice this. We're doing this because we have a lovely senior student who's doing her leaving cert. So it's been such a tough 2 years for her to do her leaving cert because there's not really been any school. So and a lot of online schooling. So she's feeling a little bit, nervous about what's going to happen in her leaving cert. So we're practicing whenever we see each other in class. Well, what would you love to happen? Oh, I would love for the exams to go so easily. I would love to get the grades that I want. And so you can practice that, and you can even start each day, well, what would you love to happen? And see if that changes your mood. So you're in charge. So the brain is brilliant, but you're the one in charge of your brain. So your brain is just a big computer. So you have to tell your brain what you want. So we talk about that. I think it's a super brain tip number 2, replace the ants. We'll talk about that though another day. So I see things that are happy to me, and then my brain says, listen, and what do I hear? I hear the things that make me smile, and I feel happy. And so what happens when something comes along that I don't like very much? What does my brain do? My brain does whatever I tell it to. So if I told my brain to get sad or mad or upset, my brain listens every time. And this is what I get, mad or sad or upset. My brain does this because I told it what to do, because I'm in charge. I get to say. I get to tell my brain what to think, what to see, what to say. I get to tell my brain how I want to feel. I get to tell my brain what I want to taste. And my brain is so good at doing what I say that I decide what my life will be like every day. So when I wake up this morning, it's up to me to choose. I decide what happens. I decide how I feel. I decide if I want to be happy, no matter if I win or lose. I am so very happy that I have this big, big brain, and I'm so grateful that God made me this way. With your and look, they've got a Superman and a brain together. So I love this. There's a little note from the author here. An author is somebody who writes books. And it says, my greatest wish is that every child in this world would know joy, because I believe that joy is the true purpose of life. My vision for the world is one in which every child is given the opportunity to know how truly special they are. So I hope you know how special you are. What a world we would live in if each special little soul was allowed to shine. How would we relate to each other if we understood just what precious gifts we are to the world? Because when we see ourselves for who we truly are, there is no stopping us from creating whatever we want, from having anything we dream of, from experiencing what brings us deep joy and fulfillment. She's deeply grateful for these messages that have enriched her life and the lives of her family. And then she tells about the big brain. So this book teaches all about the fundamentals of brain science and helps children to understand the mechanics of how the brain works. But more importantly, it helps children to understand that the thoughts they think are as a result of the feelings they feel, are choices that are available to them. It empowers them to learn that they have a choice about what they think. It teaches them that they have the power to decide what thoughts they give their attention to and nurture. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up and the hearts and the smiley faces. So think about that. So have a little experiment today and see what can you do with your big brain. So we're going to do 2 tasks today. So if you're reading Break the Mould, I want you to think about what you'd really like to do. What's your favorite things to do? And see if you can find any role models who do them. So say if you really like to run or dance or bake, then see if you can find someone who you really admire who does those things. So that's a really cool thing. And if there's no role model, maybe you're going to be the role model. So that's your task for Break the Mould. And then if you've read The Big Big Brain with me, then your task is to experiment, and everybody can do this, of what you can get your brain to do. And now I find this is a little bit tough in the beginning, because if you're used to just kind of running what we call running the program of, ooh, I don't like school, or ooh, what was Oliver doing this morning? I don't like cleaning out my fish tank. And then when it's done, it's like, well, it wasn't so bad. So practice the I would love. So what would you love to happen today? What would you love to do? What would you love? Where would you love to go? And even if none of those things happen, you get to feel so much better already. And that's a nice little experiment of going to your happy place, as we call it. So what would you love to do today? And then go out and find some role models as well. Okay, I think it's a gorgeous day today. I hope everybody's going to get outside and get some extra vitamin D. And if you're an F.Y.I. dance club, keep your fingers crossed that we still get to go ahead with our outdoor classes this week, because I would love to see you all in person. And we've had such fun with you guys creating your dances and teaching your dance as well. I'd love to keep that going. And if you are not an F.Y.I. dance club, but you see us out dancing out and about the town this week, do give us a big wave. And you're very welcome. Thank you very much, Sorja and Evie. And I am so looking forward to next week. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so fantastic. And I'm going to go out and get out in my garden today and do some lovely gardening tasks. Okay, I wish you all a lovely weekend, and F.Y.I. Dance Club people, I will see you next week. If you're not an F.Y.I. Dance Club but you do go to a school, I am doing lives for Active Week. So my Brain Grooves program, it's a 30-minute program, and I'm doing 3 lives. Now, they were only going to be on Facebook at 11:30 on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday, but I can actually live stream to YouTube as well. And there are Vimeo recordings available at the end of the week, but you need to get in touch with me for those. They're not going to be out publicly. They're just going to be for people to get in touch. So do dance with me this week for Active Schools Week. And I hope everybody has an amazing Active Schools. Thank you, Hayley. I appreciate that. And I hope you all have a great Active Schools Week. It's like I don't even want to go. I just want to sit here and chat to you all day. Okay, love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in class or online next week.